A client tries to rip me off. Game of Thrones comes out tomorrow, as of this recording. Bottas is killing it this season in Formula One. And I give you bad relationship advice about matchmakers. All of this and more on the MVP. What is going on, everybody? I am your oh-so-beloved and glorious Mace Valor. How's it going, everybody? It's Sunday for y'all. For me, it's Saturday, almost 11 a.m. I had a job earlier this morning. Quick, easy peasy. I had to dismount a TV that was mounted in someone's patio up on the stucco. Wow. Oh, wow. Whoever did that, I'm surprised that thing didn't fall. I mean, fortunately, if the TV wasn't too heavy in the mount with it, but holy crap, dude. It was just hanging by a thread. But I pulled that bad boy down, patched it over, and that's just my phone. Anyway, yeah, so this morning was pretty easy, waiting on some more jobs to come in. And you know what? I wanted to record the podcast, so here I am at the Mesa Park in beautiful Las Vegas. They got some sort of bike thing going. Everyone's out with their bikes, and it makes me think I can sit here and be oh, look at these guys run around their bikes. Oh, it's so cute. Be all cheeky about it. But at the end of the day, man, it's that's what I'm striving towards. I'm striving to be able to lift myself up, so not only am I able to do something to that effect, not obviously not riding bikes and stuff, but be a part of something. Yeah, that's kind of where my mindset's been at with this whole gig economy thing. So for those of you that don't know that are on my channel, just for the sake of brevity, I'm going to hit this real quick. I am an independent contractor. I do a lot of I guess some people would consider them side gigs, but I actually do it full time. And you know what? A lot of people are. A lot of people are kind of gravitating towards this whole, anti 9-to-5 mentality. And it's great. It offers some wonderful flexibility, and I can go on and on about how awesome it is. But at the end of the day, let's face facts. Nothing in this world is without its kinks, okay? And the gig economy is this very fickle thing to where it starts out wonderful, it starts out awesome, and then over time, it just kind of goes really sour. And I put out a video about something very similar about two other platforms that I've worked for in the past, Tackle and Handy. I mean, I primarily do TaskRabbit. Very rarely will I even entertain anything else, just because of how busy I stay on TaskRabbit. I would highly recommend it to anybody, but wow, there's some platforms. I get it. It's all about revenue. It's all about the ROI. It's all about appeasing potential investors and whatnot. So I get why it's kind of a race to the bottom. And I as much as I love TaskRabbit, I have definitely seen that effect. Kind of, the platform trying to gear itself, more budget orientated. Which it kind of encourages people to have this entrepreneurial mindset and kind of utilize the platform strictly for lead generation, but then, kind of find their way to do it outside of the platform. And, I was writing an article about this. Spoiler alert, I'm working on a website. I've had a website before, but that was an e-commerce thing that I dipped my toes in. But now I'm actually working on a full-fledged Mace Valor website, and that's really going to be kind of my go-to thing for a lot of the things that I've been writing, kind of keep you guys up to date. And obviously utilize a lot of the SEO things that I learned in college, as another way for myself to gain a level of revenue, obviously with Amazon affiliate links with ads that are going to be on. But it also acts as a outlet for me for my creative writing and whatnot. So obviously there's Shelter, right? Which obviously I want to host that on there. So it's an easy peasy place for you guys to, be up to date and in the know of what I've got going on. Wow. Okay. Phone's just blowing up. Chief Babatunde. That's good old Gig Stacker. And hey, if you're a big fan of the gig economy, I am telling you, you guys got to check out Gig Stacker. I'll drop him a link down below. If watching me is great, fine and dandy, but this dude's got some brain knowledge on him. Yeah, anyway, so I've kind of been procrastinating a lot of things in the past year. So quick updates before I kind of get into the main story. I'm going to get the main story as soon as I give you a few updates. I've kind of streamlined my life because I realized how much I've been procrastinating. I didn't really see how much I was doing it until these recent changes happened. Now, if anyone knows me, I've kind of had a history with getting a computer, utilizing it, but then eventually selling it. And my laptop that I just had, that's gone. But it wasn't gone because, oh man, I need the money. Having the extra money was nice and it was very helpful, but it honestly was not needed. I kind of made the call to get rid of the laptop because I saw just how much and how easy it was for me to procrastinate. And because, obviously you have access to all these things on there. And so sold the laptop, good chunk of change, utilized a large portion of that money just to get my replacement. And what my replacement is now, it's an iPad. So I'm doing all of the creative things that I'm doing on an iPad with a, with an external Bluetooth keyboard. And is it perfect? No. Obviously there's some quality of life things that I would also like on it. Like, it doesn't even have a case right now. It doesn't even have a screen protector. I really want down the road to obviously get the Apple Pencil, just because it's going to make editing these videos and stuff so much easier. I've got LumaFusion on here, and I know how to use it as far as video editing software goes, and I just want that precision and that ease of access instead of using my freaking sausage fingers, dude. But anyway, so that's like a big thing for me, is that I'm a lot more mobile now that I have the iPad. And as much as I detest Apple to their core, they make a pretty good streamlined product for the time that it's kicking. If I so long as I don't upgrade this, like iOS wise, as long as I don't do the forced up, if I try to stay away from the forced updates about a year from now, it'll still be kicking really strong. I have an iPad mini 2. The screen's broken, but that thing still rocks like a champ. It's all about the whole planned obsolescence freaking scam, and every company does it. There's not a single. We don't manufacture things to last anymore. Okay, back in the day, like 100 years ago, things were crafted with a level of precision and care and durability that they would last a long stretch of time. You can go back and get electronics from like the 40s and 50s, and a lot of those things are still running strong, okay? And the reason why is because things were built to last. Things were built with a level of craftsmanship and care that they were designed to be around for a while. I don't think they had it in mind to make them last this long, but even still though, having that foresight was wonderful. Apple, by and large, is extremely anti-consumer, but I will not hide away from the fact that they do make a decent product for what it is, without going off on a tangent about all the negative shit. Anyway, let's talk about this client that tried to screw me, because that's the big ticket one. That's the big major story above everything else that is important, because I even live streamed after this happened on my way home the other night. I was so furious. Like, check it out. Here's what happened. So I got done with the job, headed over to get a quick bite to eat, and wait to see if I would get another one, or if that was going to be it for the night. And I did have a client later on that needed me, but they were relatively flexible. So I was like, hey, if I get something in, I can switch them over to the next day. If not, then I'll just go do it. So what ended up happening, they were at 7:30, I believe. So I had a client hit me up on TaskRabbit, and he just needed his shelf mounted, and it was like a floating shelf. And I talked to him in chat, and we kind of went back and forth, and I, based upon the description of what the task was, it wasn't going to take that long. It's like, so it's just a floating shelf, right? So yeah, just a floating shelf. I just need to mount it right under my TV. And I'm like, that's a really quick job. And then I look at the estimation, the not the precise address, but like it gives you within like a quarter of a mile of where it's at on the app. And I see it, and it's way on the other end of town, like over towards Lake Las Vegas. Like, it's way deep into Henderson. And I'm like, are you kidding me, man? All the way over there for $32. and I'm only going to be there for maybe 15 minutes, if that. It's like, that's like, I have to justify it myself. Like, is it worth it? You know, I'm at the advantageous position to where my take-home pay allows me to be somewhat flexible. It allows me to say, hey, I don't want to do this job, I don't want to do that job. And usually a job like that, I'll outright deny. Because it's too far, it's going to be too short, and it's not worth even the gas to go out there for something that short. Because I drive this big-ass truck, man. It's a 98 Dodge Durango. This thing's a beast. It's got a lot of miles on it, but it's still kicking, man. But it's a V8. This thing gets like 13, 14 miles to the gallon. All right? Driving 20 miles or so, or one way. You know, that's a lot of gas, man. That is a lot of gas. So I'm already thinking, all right, I don't want to even do this. And then I had this thought, like, you know what? I'll flip a coin. I literally flipped a coin on accepting this job or not. Called heads, came up heads, fine. I'm going to go do the job. And I tell the guy, like, look, I do have another job and you're kind of on the other end of town. Could you reschedule for tomorrow? Because I could have done it the next morning because I did have another job closer to noon right down the road from that location. So it would have worked out for me a lot better. But, you know, he's like, oh, well, if you can, I can meet you right now. And I'm like, all right, fine. It's going to be quick. I'll go out and knock this one out real quick. Then I'll drive up and take care of the one on the north end of Vegas. And, you know, that's what it'll be for today. So I go all the way out there. And so by the time I get there, it's 5:45 p.m. And that's when I've parked, okay? Now, this it's a big, like, lofty strip view. Okay, it's off in the distance, but it's got a strip view of this big, like, high-end loft area. I mean, we're talking like one bedrooms in this place cost $3,500 a month. You know, it's just up and coming, and wow, dude, like, this place was like lofty, expensive, all this jazz, right? But that's not the point. The point is I get there at 5:45. This dude, I text him, hey man, I'm here, and he's like, oh cool, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be like 10, 15 minutes. I'm still stuck in traffic or whatever. And I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. So, and obviously when it comes to clients, when we make an agreement and I get there, that's the start time. I start my clock the moment that I arrive, and I stop my clock the moment I get to my truck, you know. And it's like, that's what we agreed upon. I've formulated my schedule to be here. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, so I'm basically sitting there waiting, and then finally, like, it's like 6 p.m. He finally shows up. He gets me in the door. So it's a lot of, there's no security guards or anything, but there's levels of security to this place. So you need a key fob to get into the door that is where the elevator shaft is, like where the elevators are. And then you need a key fob to call the elevator, and you need another key fob to choose your floor. Or, you know, it's all the same key fob, but there's all these layers of security to make sure that only the people that live there or being escorted by the people that live there that have access to a key fob are going to get there. Keep that in mind for later. So I finally show up with him and everything, and we go down a level to where his car is. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm just still unloading everything. I'm like, unloading everything? I'm like, it's just a shelf. What are you talking about? And it's not a floating shelf. It's a Besta TV bench. For those of you who don't know, IKEA makes these Besta units, and, you know, you can essentially mount them up and, you know, make them floating and all this shit. But oh my god, oh my goodness, this was a big beast. Now, obviously, I've done these things many times before, and it's gonna be pretty quick. It didn't take too long to put the damn thing together. Bestas are like, they're super easy, man. They're so simple. What took a while was measuring the thing, and then it was 70 inches. It's a pretty big boy. So not only was I trying to once I got it assembled and I was trying to mount it up, that was the hard part. So I did all my measurements, and I'm very, very precise in my measuring. I measure, just to make sure it's perfect, because I don't want to have to do so many anchors. But, you know, I told him, like, hey, you might want the suspension rails for this. But I guess that you didn't need one, and they didn't want to go get them. So I was like, it's okay. Just say it in the chat to mount it with regular anchors, and I'll hit the studs just fine and get it going. He's like, all right, cool, man. This motherfucker. Dude, this guy, while we're talking, he's like playing shitty-ass indie rap or whatever. And I'm like, okay, just deal with it. And we start talking. He's like, oh yeah, so where you from and all this stuff. I heard that you're in the military, read your profile. And I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm from California. And he's like, oh, what'd you do out there? It's like, well, the last thing I did was like edit indie films. That's the last big thing I did. Oh, you could do music videos, man. Oh man, I got some tracks that I made. I need some music videos done for, man. Hey, I could pay you in exposure. I could pay you in promotion. I could promote you out here. Your skill stuff. And I'm like, well, number one, I don't work for exposure. I don't do work just so you'll promote my skills. Okay, my skills warrant themselves. Okay, but I don't do that anymore anyway. I don't edit music videos. I don't edit music videos to begin with, but I didn't do that since high school. I used to do like AMVs. I used to take like some anime or video game cutscene and put it to some trendy, edgy freaking rock, like some El Nino or something. Anyway, man, so we get to talking, and it's like this dude, man, and he starts asking about other stuff that I could do, and he starts pointing up to this so it's a 2-story apartment, right? Big ass huge apartment, but the whole living room, it's clear open all the way to the second floor, and he's got these big ass can lights. And he's like, oh man, do you think you could reach up there? And I'm like, I don't have a ladder big enough for that. That's pretty freaking high. It's like 20 something feet, if not more. And he's like, oh man, you might know someone to do so. Like, well, there's a lot of people on the platform that might. He's like, yeah, I want to get those Philip Hue lights and put them up there. And I'm like, okay, so this guy's got a lot of stuff planned, and he's dropping quite a bit of cash. So I don't know what this guy does. He says he's in the entertainment business or whatever. I mean, obviously he makes decent coin to even afford living here in the first place. Anyway, I put the unit up. I get it together. I put it up. He ends up falling asleep on the couch. I take pictures and everything, which did before, during, after. I'm telling you, take as many pictures as you can. And this is exactly why you got to protect yourself, man. So I kind of wake him up once everything's done, and the unit's like, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, it's mounted up there, it's all good to go. He's like, man, it looks great, man, you did great, that's perfect, that's spot on, man, you're the best, dude, I'm going to leave you a great review, And I'm like, oh, appreciate it, man, yeah, I'm glad that, you got it taken care of. And I went to go invoice him, and the entire time I was in there, the reception was really bad. I mean, I had been able to get on to submit the photos, but I wasn't really able to have it load the invoicing, and it's late. It's like getting towards it was past 8 at this point. It was just shy of 8, and I was like, man, I've been here a while. I just want to go home. So I'm like, hey, I'll invoice you once I get outside. The reception's really bad here, and he's like, okay, cool, and I was like, all right. And I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I saw him messing around on his phone, and he was kind of like. As soon as it was done, he gave me a little bit of praise, and then he kind of clammed up right before right when I mentioned invoicing. And I was like, oh, I'll just invoice you once I'm outside and I get better reception. Because I was there a couple minutes trying to figure it out. And he's like, oh, all right, cool, man. And then I get out the door. I go to the elevator. I go down. All these layers of security are now behind me. I get outside, open up my phone, open up the app. I'm walking over to my truck, finally get reception. I'm starting to do the invoice. I clicked on it, I'm getting ready to do it. Then I get a notification. Cancellation. Mounting in such and such location. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? I was pissed. Because the first thing that I saw when that happened, the very first thing I thought of when that happened was, I need to go back up there and talk to this dude. Problem is that I couldn't, because there was all these layers of security for me to get up there, and you have no way to contact the client once the task is invoiced or the task is canceled. That's it. You can't talk to them again. There should be some sort of grace period. That's my recommendation. If a task has been canceled, there should be at least a 20 or 30 minute grace period. Same thing with invoicing. If anything were to come up, if I were to do a job and let's say I left a tool at a client's house, and I just realized it as I'm driving down the road, I should be able to call, chat with my client and be like, oh, hey, I left this. Is it okay if I come back real quick? Something like that. No. But anyway, so it was canceled. I was furious. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. You got to, and for the sake of the YouTube gods and all that jazz, I'm going to try to keep this as clean as possible. But I did have some choice words in my stream that night. Oh man, it's like, who do you think you are? Like, how? Oh my. Like, I don't know, like, how cheap you gotta be. But that's outright freaking theft, dude. Come on, you're stealing money out of my pocket. We're talking $70. Shout out to Foibles with the super chat pipe. Donating a fat 20 bill. Thank you for that, bud. Didn't need to do it, but, you know, I appreciate it nonetheless. That kind of mellowed me out for the night. I was going to end up getting a cancellation fee. I knew I was going to get a cancellation fee and be covered by that with TaskRabbit, but that's only for the, it's just a standard 1 hour. You don't get the whole time that you were there. So all the stuff that I was going to do that I did would have been nothing. All that extra shit that I did. But fortunately, like I said, I documented everything. So I sent it off to an email to TaskRabbit support. I let them know, no. Good to go. No problem. That was fine. I had all my documentation. Then, the next morning, I called them. And come on, anyone that's worked on TaskRabbit knows how stingy they get. It's like, well, it's for on-task emergencies only. But they were actually pretty cool given the circumstance because it was considered fraud, and they do have to be very aware of that. So the lady on the phone, she actually reopened the same job and let me invoice her real quick. So thank God for that, man. Shout out to whoever in the hell that was. But seriously, though, it just, put such a sour taste in my mouth. Because as I'm walking, leaving the guy's house, I'm like, man, maybe these jobs that are, on the other end of town that are only 1 hour that turn into this, what am I thinking? Maybe I should be taking these jobs more often. Because this 1 hour job turned into, a two hour, turned into a little over 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes. Maybe I should just, be more positive about it. Maybe I should stop being so selective. Maybe I should open myself up. Then I get that cancellation. That entire notion of positivity and reaffirmation of doing more on the platform just shot out of my head immediately. It's like, oh no, man. This karma's going to come around to this dude. So, oh dude, I just wish that just TV stand not now that it's invoiced, but, because of the cancellation. At the time, I was driving home and I'm telling everyone on stream, I hope that TV stand just, it's not gonna, because don't want to be cocky, but I'm very confident in my ability. But that thing's not gonna fall. But I was hoping so. I hope that TV stand falls and that glass on top of it just shatters all over the floor, and he cuts his footage as he's walking over to take care of it. That's just the cynic in me. And he wants to bitch about it. It's like, well, you canceled the task, so according to you, I was never there. So I don't know what you're talking about. So stupid, man. Yeah, but that's kind of the ball on that one. And it's like I said, it just left such a sour taste in my mouth. Who does that, man? And it's such a complete and total devaluation of work, Ugh, what a train wreck. Yeah, anyway, like I said, it's Saturday right now. Game of Thrones comes out tomorrow. Season 8, the final season. What we've been waiting for. It's literally the only time I ever pay for HBO is for Game of Thrones or Westworld. That's it. And I'm super pumped for Game of Thrones. I'm trying to avoid any potential leaks or anything. So I just can't wait for tomorrow. So when it comes out, it's there. I see the first episode. Let's move on. It's going to be this next 6 weeks are going to be just 1 week after another waiting on it. And it's just going to be pump. And I'm just going to be floored by it. I'm already pumped. So wish George R. R. Martin would finish. Well, the book is probably already done, but it does take a while for marketing, and the whole publishing thing does take a while. Even though he's an established author, he could put it out tomorrow and no, there's a road, man. There's a road with stuff like that. So anyway, super pumped for Game of Thrones. I used to love The Walking Dead, man. I used to love The Walking Dead, but I think season 5 for me was the last good season of The Walking Dead. And I think it's because this sense of sheer brutality in the apocalypse. But it's after they got to Alexandria and the whole that was in season 6, the whole No Way Out story arc, but it's once they settled in Alexandria, the show it kind of plateaued. The comics are still going strong. I still love the comics. There's some storylines and interaction things that happen in the comics that I just love. But in the show, man, it's like you can. There's all these different things you can say about it, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to execution, and the execution on the show has become rather lackluster for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, like some of the things that they've done, I think, are pretty cool, but for the most part, like, I mean, then we have Fear the Walking Dead, which is, it's like The Walking Dead. It's like it's all about like, oh, let's find this, let's make an antagonist group, or individual, frame them as some level of insane or whatever, and then our group has to go against that. That's kind of where both parties are at now, and it's interesting how they write in different types of people that are in the apocalypse. Like, I know there's an interesting group called the Vultures in Fear the Walking Dead, even though season 4? The last season of Walking Dead, I did have some, or Fear the Walking Dead, I did have some issues with, but I enjoyed it for the most part. I mean, I don't think that Fear the Walking Dead is as good as The Walking Dead, but it's something for me to watch. And, I love the whole idea of apocalypse and zombies and everything, and The Walking Dead hit it just right. But it's kind of like stagnating, like, I don't know, like, so Fear is like, the whole idea, it's like that the walkers are like more horror-esque, I guess. It's not filmed in such a horror way, but like, it's this whole mentality that the first season and even the second season to an extent I thought were great because it was still early on in the apocalypse. You're still kind of getting used to this event that is transpiring the world over, and that's something that I really gravitated towards. Whereas in The Walking Dead, it was kind of like, well, let's humans against humans. Like the dead are obviously an issue, but they're more so an environmental issue now, so more than ever. They've kind of been able to like adapt. These survivors have adapted to the world that they're in. So it's just, I'm not on the train as much anymore. It's the whole sunk cost thing, the whole sunk cost fallacy. I continue to watch it because of the years I've spent watching it already. And, a lot of times I don't watch it live. I mean, sometimes I do, yeah. Sometimes I'll watch it live. Sometimes I'll watch it like an hour or two after it airs. But a lot of times I'll watch it probably the next day or so. I try to watch it as soon as the episodes come out, or as close to. But it's like I don't feel like I need to go out of my way for it as much as I used to. I mean, I still DVR it, so maybe I'm just full of shit. Cutting cords, man. Oh, speaking of cord cutting and DVRing and everything. So I don't have traditional cable because, I mean, come on, let's face facts. It's going the way of the dodo. All right. I don't know why broadcasters just don't put their meat and potatoes into reinforcing our infrastructure for data lines. And then let's go that way. Let's take the cable box and utilize that infrastructure for better internet connection, faster internet connection, higher, like screw the data cap, all right, or increase it at least, and let's move over to streaming. You can still have traditional cable, but then utilize through some version of an app or something like that. Maybe like instead of a cable box, you get a set-top box that kind of controls your experience. Like the broadcasting is such a, oh, it's so frustrating. It's like Cox, Time Warner, Comcast, Xfinity, like all these companies, like they're so set in stone with the way that things have been for so many years, and they bend you over, no lube, no courtesy of a reach around, and then push you out the door. It's like, I mean, oh man, my internet bill is like $100 a month, right? A year ago it was like $70. They slowly increase it. It's like for some weird reason, the longer that you're around, the more they raise the rates, which makes no sense. So YouTube TV, as soon as it came out in Las Vegas, cord cut it all the way, went with YouTube TV and Netflix. That's been the primary thing. YouTube TV was $35 a month, and it has been for like over a year that I've had it now. In May, they're increasing the price. To $50 a month. And it's like, all right, so my internet plus Netflix, which increased the price, YouTube TV, which increased its price. Now I'm at the point where I'm paying as much as I did for cable in the past. But it's still cheaper than cable, because had I still had cable, it would still even be more expensive than that. So you got to kind of just roll with it. And for the most part, if you haven't tried YouTube TV, I would highly recommend it. Even with the new increase at $50 a month, you're still getting a wealth of channels. And I mean, there's only, there's a handful of stuff on actual television that I watch. But the things that I do watch, I'm glad that I have access to the channels that I like. Not sponsored by them or anything, obviously. Just a little personal thing of what I utilize. Obviously, Netflix is great, but with Disney coming out with their own, like everyone that owns some sort of intellectual property, as far as media is concerned, they all want to have their own streaming service. They want to have all their stuff there. So Netflix was kind of like the king of the game for a while. I mean, obviously you had Hulu, but Hulu was more for live television, whereas Netflix was a place where you would binge watch seasons of shows that they had certain licenses for. Which I don't know why they would, do that. What was $100 million for a license extension on Friends? Friends? All right. Look, I'm sorry. I might be the minority in this room when I say this. I'm not a fan of the show Friends. I never found it hilarious. But same thing with Seinfeld. Never really cared for it too much. Did I miss the train on it? Did I miss probably, who knows? But I think it's like a sitcom thing. I mean, yeah, there's a few sitcoms that, I've stuck through a lot when I was younger. Like Everyone Loves Raymond. But I was a kid watching that, so a lot of the jokes obviously kind of went over my head. Holy shit. Sorry about that. Wow. Okay, so that was that was my mom calling me. We're coordinating me going down to California. She's going down to California too. I got some things I gotta take care of out there. And obviously, hanging out with my mom and my son or my oldest son are gonna be great. So, anyway, I don't even know where I was. So, anyway, I mentioned Bottas with Formula One. For those of you who don't know anything about Formula One, man, I'm not even super savvy on it, but it is kind of cool seeing these guys race as quickly as they do on these tracks, windy, twists and turns and whatnot, and it's just nuts. And Bottas got pole qualifying yesterday, so that yes, so for you guys that don't know, Mercedes was the champion last year as a team with Lewis Hamilton at the lead. I think Bottas was at 4th or 5th. I think he got 5th. And, he's on the Mercedes team. And this year he's been crushing it. He won one. He got pole. I think it's his second pole. Is it? No, it's not. No, it's not his second pole. But no, he didn't even know it's his first pole for the season. He got first place in the very first race of the year. And he went all of last year without placing first. And it was the best race. It was in Australia, man. It was seeing him this dude's a Viking, okay? He's from Finland, all right? And, dude, man, this guy, man, he just nailed it. And I'm rooting for him. Don't get me wrong, Hamilton's great and everything, but, dude, it's awesome to see another person, come on up. And there's a lot of other great racers. Charles Leclerc, man, that guy, new on the F1 team, he's killing it too. He should have won that last race in Bahrain, but he had some engine trouble or something like that, so didn't pan out for him. But he had a great race last time. That went off to Hamilton for first, Bottas for second, it's the 1-2 punch for Mercedes, okay? But man, Vettel, Sebastian Vettel with Ferrari, man, I don't know what he's not had a good start this season. Driving for Ferrari, who historically have the fastest vehicles on straightaways and what, Ferrari and Mercedes are the top two teams that in all of Formula One, and then you got Red Bull coming up right behind them. But Max Verstappen, that little shit, him and Lance Stroll can go fuck off. Oh my god, these fucking kids. Lance Stroll, number one, can't drive for shit. The only reason why he has a seat, he was with Williams. I'm pretty sure he's with Force India now, who changed their name to whatever. But Lance Stroll, man, this guy, he can't race. He's a horrible driver. All right, Max, I'm not gonna deny it. Dude's got some talent, but he is so arrogant. He is so overly aggressive, blames everyone when he crashes into motherfuckers. I mean, it's like, and he's like, it's this kid, man. Like, what? He's like, what, 20 years old? 19, 20 years old? Maybe 21? I don't even know. I don't even care. And then we got Daniel Ricciardo, who, man, last season, he just, like, Red Bull kept putting their money on Max, and, you know, they didn't really give a fuck about Daniel at that point. And Daniel, he had a pretty good season overall last year. But in the tail end of it, man, oh, man, like, what, the last third of it? Hell, maybe the last half. Like, started out the year relatively strong, but then Daniel Ricciardo, man, just was getting just engine problem, like gearbox failure. Just one thing after another was hitting this guy that kind of, like, it was a stopgap from what could actually help him succeed, and that was his own fucking car fucking up. And now he's at Renault, and not a very good start with Renault this year. But I think that's less him and more so the team, to be perfectly honest with you. Renault last year was the one that was making the engine for Red Bull, and Red Bull terminated that contract. It was around time for them to, like, hey, we're going to make your guys' engines again, and Red Bull was like, no, we're going back to Honda. You know, obviously your engines aren't working for us, so they're an energy drink company. They don't fucking make engines. They don't even design the cans. They literally just formulate the fucking drinks. I mean, yeah, they have their whole racing division and shit like that, but come on, at the end of the day, these guys aren't, like, engineers for automobiles, okay? So they have to outsource that shit. Anyway, that's probably all the freaking F1 that I'm gonna talk about, because once again, I'm not privy on it. I'm not a sports guy. You know, I want to be here. I'm a handyman. I work with my hands. I got dried stucco patch on my fingernails from this morning. I want to be that guy, man. But I'm a manly man. But I'm not going to lie. At the end of the freaking day, dude, I just don't give a fuck about sports. There are some sports I find are interesting to watch. You know, they're enjoyable. Like, the NBA. Which kind of went away. Because it was around the time that Garnett and Pierce left the Celtics. A Celtics fan, sue me. When they left, and the big three was broken up, and you got Rondo that was stuck there with the newbies, the rookies from college ball. You know, that was around the time, and it's like a lot of that shit's rigged anyway. I mean, maybe it's this whole conspiracy theory of mine. Hell, you even go back, man. Like, a lot of things in sports are kind of catered towards what is good for advertisers, what's good for broadcasters, what's good for ratings. What is good for ratings? You know, and you'll have, certain people talk with the refs, make certain calls. I mean, hell, man, back when Michael Jordan was fucking creme de la creme, man, back in his prime, a lot of ratings, a lot of the hype was around him. So a lot of the refs, there were certain, violations or traveling or this, that, and the other that they wouldn't even call him on. And that's all because it's like, hey, man, this is the guy that gets the ratings. We're going to let this guy be the winner. Not to say that Michael Jordan isn't the best, because obviously he is. But yeah, I don't really fucking know much about sports, man. Honestly, I don't. It never really interested me that much. I mean, like, I guess the closest thing to sports that I watch is I'll watch, like, the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour. I'll watch that shit. But it's like a test of the mind, dude. It's like, I love Magic the Gathering. It's like the whole strategy thing, man. And let's talk about some video games for just a moment. Magic the Gathering Arena, everyone leaves the video. Y'all gone? It's just us now? Yeah, so Magic the Gathering. Dude, I grew up playing Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. 30 years old. Almost 30 years old. I'm 29. Still play fucking Pokemon. Go figure. It's a good game, dude. I can't knock it. It's a good game. It's a good game. What do you want from me? I love RPGs. I love compiling a team. I love, the grind that goes up to making that team as best as you could possibly make them. not too crazy on the competitive grind as far as Pokemon's concerned, because there's hours and hours and hours. We're talking, you got to breed Pokemon with different egg sets, and you got to make sure you get the right IVs and all this. There's all this extra shit in the games. It's a bit too much. But man, the Pokemon trading card game online, dude, that's my bread and butter, man. I love that fucking shit, dude. That game is so freaking awesome. I mean, it's a good card game. I'm not gonna lie. I play it with my oldest son. Pokemon's a good card game. It's, the way that they structured it was wonderful. It's great for strategy. You build your deck. You choose your strategy. You fucking go at it. And then, of course, you got Magic the Gathering, which is, I believe, the best trading card game. Don't like the directions that Wizards of the Coast has taken since Hasbro took over. There's a lot of unsavory little business thingies that they got going on that just kind of perturb me to no end. But, there was a time where maybe I like playing Magic, and I've played it in person before. The most I ever spent compiling a deck together, I think, was like $150. And what was it? It was it was all over the place. But it started as a black-red deck that shifted into a black-red-white deck that switched over to a red-white, like aggro weenie deck. That was back Khans of Tarkir-ish? No. Well, Khans of Tarkir was still in the thing, in standard. But it was, what was it? It was Shadows Over... Oh my god, dude. And I'm writing a book, Shelter, right? I write creative, all this stuff. Lore in Magic the Gathering has always interested me, and Shadows over Innistrad was one of my favorite blocks as far as lore was concerned. The Shadows over Innistrad, how that story continued the story of Innistrad, but at the same time it also continued the story of Zendikar. I mean, just the lore, the story build. I mean, obviously outside of the cards, you got to fucking look in and dig into this shit, but oh my god, dude, like the rise and fall of Avacyn, the Archangel of Hope. I mean, that's just, that's just great storytelling. And obviously Sorin is my favorite planeswalker. It's a black-white Sorin from Shadows over Innistrad. Oh my god, great fucking, actually, he's my favorite planeswalker, but my favorite card is Erathos, God of Passage. From, I think he was Journey to Nyx, but he's a black-white god. Oh my god, the god cards, dude. People want to shit talk the Theros block, dude. I love Theros, man. If I had to rate my favorite fucking Magic the Gathering blocks of the ones that I've played, they would go in order of Shadowmoor, like the Lorwyn, Lorwyn kind of went into Shadowmoor, but so you had the Shadowmoor Eventide set because of like the dynamic of the paired colors, right? Loved the Shadowmoor and Eventide sets. More so Shadowmoor than Eventide. Loved Alara. I love multicolor, man. It's like single color decks are fun, but like, and they can push you in a certain direction strategically, but like multicolor decks, that's where the real fun, that's where the flavor kicks in, brother. And then, of course, after that, there was a long hiatus. I touched a little bit here and there. More like Scars of Moradin, whatever. Played a little bit of that in Afghanistan. We had a little Magic the Gathering club. We're over there fucking in the heat in the desert, and late at night we'd go in and we'd play two things. We would play poker and Magic the Gathering. And yes, we played poker for money, my friend. Played poker for money, but we played Magic the Gathering too. Like, we literally bought fucking like cards and shit, had them shipped overseas. Took months to get there, but man, we played some Magic the fucking Gathering. We had a blast. Oh my god, it was a good time. It was a damn good time, dude. Loved playing Magic over there. So Shadowmoor, the Alara set, and then I came back at Theros. In the Theros block, I really fucking liked. And then it would be Shadows over Innistrad itself. I really, really liked. But I stopped there and I didn't continue on with. I don't even know what the next one was called. What was the one after Shadows over Innistrad called? Eldritch Moon. Eldritch Moon. I saw the set from Eldritch Moon. It had some. I mean, the flavor text and all this stuff and the lore stuff as a continuation of the Zendikar storyline and all that shit. I thought it was great and wonderful. But holy shit, dude. some of the cards from that set are fucking wonky. So I think I'm kind of okay with the fact that I left at that junction. But man, dude, Pokemon TCG Online, that's kind of all. I don't have any standard cards anymore because it's been so long since I played. But I would love to get a bunch of those code cards, scan them in, and just have at it, man. That would be a blast. Anyway, so moving off of all of that, let's kind of close this off. So this is going to be a thing that I do at the end of every single podcast, where I take viewer questions, people looking for life advice and whatever. So I don't have one now. You guys can comment down below, but I would prefer an email. I'll drop the email on the screen, whatever one I decide to use, and then I will also drop it in the link down below. So life advice, it could be anything. So I'm gonna kind of focus on bad relationship advice, which it's a stream that I've done before, and I love that stream because we get into nuances of relationships and what different things mean, and try and talk shit through. So that's kind of where this part's gonna be. So if any of you guys have gotten to this part, drop it down in the comment section. But I would prefer an email. You send an email. The more detail you can get, the better. But try and keep it short and concise. But be as thorough about what you're talking about, so I can get a good idea of what your situation is, and what advice you're kind of looking for. And I'd like to actually be able to do like 2 or 3 of these at the end of each podcast. So the more you guys bring in, the more I'll be able to say. So I talked about matchmakers, dude. So I was actually on Instagram yesterday. And there's a girl, there was a really good friend of mine in high school. And me being a fucking idiot over time, I don't really keep in touch with a lot of people. So just over the years, I've had friends that will reach out to me, but I'm, over the years, I just kind of do my own thing. But she put out an Instagram story. Usually it's just pictures of her boyfriend, husband, I don't know. Another buddy of mine from high school, lost touch with. She usually just puts out like stuff like that. But I don't ever really comment on people's stories or anything. But she put out this one, and it was just so funny. It's this dude in the parking lot of Walmart with a bag of bread, and he's just throwing it on the ground. Like he's crumbling up the bread, like feeding the birds, but there's no birds there. I just thought it was fucking funny. And I had commented on the story, like, what the fuck is that? And then she actually hit me back, and it just made me think, like, dude, there was a time I went home on leave while I was in the Army. She picked me up from the airport. We hung out a bit. And, she arranged me and my ex to hang out because I was the one that introduced them to make them friends. And things between me and my ex, they weren't peachy. Like, we had our issues. So, that was awkward, but it was kind of like a weird way of her trying to at least get us to talk to each other. Not necessarily the whole matchmaking thing. It could have been that, but it most likely wasn't. Probably just, getting us in the same fucking room. And then I had another incident back when I was in the Army. Went through my divorce and everything. I was, single man and all this stuff. And, I had my friend Jenny. She hit me up with a friend of hers, Brittany. And, she was doing the whole matchmaker thing, getting us together in the first place. And even after we broke up and kind of went our own separate ways, once again, she tried to get us back together. She tried to at least get us hanging out and stuff. And it kind of made me think, like, this whole meddling thing that people do. It's like, it's not bad. I wouldn't say that, hey, if you think that 2 people are good for each other, go for it. At least link them up. It's kind of like, some people, like me, for example, I was pretty timid. It took me a long time to kind of be a little bit more assertive when it comes to women. Not aggressive. Oh my God, check your privilege, Mace. No, be more assertive, be more forward, be a little bit more, like, this is how it is, And back then, it's like I wasn't like that. So having a matchmaker, it was definitely something that I needed, But I don't necessarily think it was something that I wanted, because having people come in and try to, like, hook you up with someone, and like that's the thing. Like, I went on a date with that Brittany chick, and it amounted to nothing. Well, at the time, The date went great. It was a good date. And what ended up happening was I found out through the grapevine that she got upset. This is what I don't understand. She got upset that I didn't invite her back to my room. And I was like, I thought I was being the gentleman, the nice guy. This is in the era of me slowly losing the whole nice guy thing. Fucking nice guys. I think I'll talk about that next time. Fucking nice guys, man. Fuck nice guys. Fucking, oh my God, fuck nice guys. With a passion. Fuck them. Jesus. Fuck out of here. You want a goddamn cookie for opening a door? Fuck off. Anyway. It gets me in a tizzy just thinking about these fucking entitled little shits. It's like, dude, it's either she wants you or she doesn't. And if you think she might be on the fence or you think you might have a chance, give her a fucking reason to want to be with you. But no, all these fucking nice guys, they go after girls that are like Instagram. They go after girls that are like clearly 10 out of fucking 10s. For real? Mr. fucking 150 pounds overweight, goddamn neck beard and a fucking fedora he got at Hot Topic. You think that this fucking girl showing ass on fucking Instagram with thousands of likes is going to be the one for you? Just because y'all, like, hang out and go to school and stuff. College, whatever. Just because y'all know each other in the real world. And it's all physical. That's all it is. All the nice guys, they go after the physical shit. These nice guys fucking, they find a girl that they're physically attracted to. Don't get to, like, really, like, connect with them. Like, I'm telling you, there's these nice guys that go after these these vapid, idiotic, fucking self-absorbed women that all they care about is their physical appearance. All that they fucking push out there is their physical appearance. They over-sexualize themselves. No, Mace, it's the media's fault for encouraging it. That's what these nice guys go after. And then they fucking wonder why, like, oh, wow, she rejected me. Well, fuck all women then. Fuck you. Who the fuck do you think you are that you think it's perfectly fine and perfectly okay to demand a girl's attention just because, I open a door, or I take her phone calls at night, or I let her talk to me about all her problems with guys? And it's like, it's this whole fucking self-victimization mentality. It's like playing the victim is acknowledging the situation that you're in and not doing a goddamn thing to change it. That's what being a fucking victim is. Alright? I've talked to people about that shit on stream before. I had this guy talk about his hometown and how it sucks and this, that, and the other. And he just kept going on about how he hates his life and shit. And it's like, dude, that sucks. There's been times in my life where I hated it. You know what I did? I fucking did something to get myself out of that situation. I fucking brought myself up. I don't know how we got to this from matchmaking. This is why I need your emails. This is why you need to click the link down below. This is why you need to type whatever's in on screen now. And go for it. Let me know what your guys' problems are. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I took a few classes in college. But that's all it takes nowadays, right? Just takes a few classes in college. You're a master at anything. You're a master at whatever you do just because you took a gender studies course, so you know all about the issues between men and women. Men, women, and other. Oh my God, Mace, it's 2019. Get your shit together. Sorry if I'm being insensitive. But fuck your feelings. Speaking of fucking feeling, there's this dude, man. He's been commenting on a few of my YouTube videos. If you're watching now and you've made it this far, dude, thanks for the views. Thanks for the comments. You're kind of cunty. There's this dude that's been commenting, and like he's just straight flexing. Like all he does is talk about how much money he makes, which is cool because it's something we do in the gig economy. We like to share, where we're at financially and how we're being successful. Well, that's great. But he's like just straight flexing and talking about like, I'll outright bully clients if they don't want to, if they don't want to meet the threshold that I will, they don't want to pay the prices that I'm offering, then I'll bully them into it. And it's like, really, fucking dude? I mean, I get where you're coming from. You set your price points where they're at and you fucking roll with it. You ain't got to bully a client. It's like, hey, I can do this thing for you for $189. It's like, oh, well, can you do $150? And then you look at the client like dead face, like, listen, motherfucker, I am not interested in doing this for a cent below $189, you troglodyte little shit. You want this shit done? I'm the only motherfucker that can do it properly. And you want it done now? I'm right here. But the only way that it's going to be done is if you pay the fucking asking price. Don't even fucking offer anything else. The fuck do you think you are? Like, that's like the vision that this... Like, I don't think that he's that bad. Okay, let's face facts and be honest about... I'm saying that a lot today. Let's be honest about it. Pretty sure he's a pretty level-headed dude, but he's like got this big ass... His ego is like huge, okay? Clearly, because of how much he likes to flex in his comments. He's like, oh, Mace, you're too PC. It's okay, you'll learn. It's like, did you not read my reply? I fucking agreed to you. I just think you're a douche. Alright, like, I'm all about making money with my clients too. Hell, my client today paid for the fucking stucco patch that I did at his house. I expensed that shit, and it's like I charge what is more than fair, but at the same time, though, I'm not going to get screwed over for the work that I do. So, come on, man. I'm professional. I'm tactful with my clients. If you talk to me, if you talk to your clients the way that you talk in these comment sections, I mean, come on, bro. I'm a professional that's been doing this for over 12 years, and it's motherfuckers like you are the reason why I no longer do HVAC. No longer do HVAC because people have like this old man mentality, this old boys club thing. It's like, well, I've been doing this job for so long, therefore I know more than you. Therefore, you shouldn't even fucking bother. It's like, all right, fine, let's see how long the industry lasts if no new people can fucking come in this bitch. 12 fucking years, he hasn't learned etiquette. Hasn't learned how to talk to another fucking human being. Okay, it's cool. I just laughed at the most part when he said... I laughed the most at the part when he said, oh, you're just being too PC. It's like... What? Have you seen my channel? Have you seen my stream? Have you gone through the archive of shit? I got kicked off of Twitch for 30... I got thrown in Twitch jail for 30 days for my lack of political correctness. Alright? My conservative viewpoints have been the center of controversy for many of my Discord conversations I've had on stream. Okay? I've had people attacking me for one reason or another because I'm not PC enough. Because fuck political correctness. Call shit like it fucking is. Be respectful. Yeah, let's be respectful. I might think that I might know the fact that there are only two genders. However, I'm not a complete fucking asshole. If someone were to approach me, and if I misgendered them, and they're like, oh, this is what I identify as, I'd be like, well... It's not the end of the world for me to refer to you by your chosen pronouns because you had the courtesy to say, hey, that's not what I want. Could you please refer to me as this? You had the courtesy to go out of your way to do that. I am perfectly fine with going out of my way. Playing make-believe with you because you had the common courtesy to not jump down my fucking throat and like, oh my God, you misogynistic, xenophobic motherfucker. Like, I appreciate that. Is xenophobic the right word? I don't even know anymore. There's an ism for everything. I don't know, whatever, man. I don't mind having the viewpoints that I do because they're mine and mine alone. I don't force them down on other people. That's the fucking problem that I see in 2019. These past few years. It's like it's like, if you disagree with me, then we're gonna have a problem. It's like, we can disagree, it's fine. I mean, open discourse is a very good, productive thing. But the moment that we start disagreeing with one another, and we can't at least try to discuss the nuances of what we disagree with, then there's a problem. A problem comes when you can't even have a conversation with another human being without them completely and utterly shutting you out, just because of this, just because of your opinion, just because of your vantage point, just because you have a different perspective than them. Just by saying I disagree with you, they internally take that as you're saying I'm wrong. I'm saying that my perspective is different than you, and compared to my perspective, it's different. I don't agree with your perspective. I'm not outright saying that you are wrong. I disagree with where you're coming from, but I'm willing to have my mind changed. I'm willing to engage. No, fuck you. If you don't agree with the granted narrative, then fuck you. That's the mindset nowadays. We can't even have a civil fucking conversation anymore. What the fucking total ass, dude? What is that shit? Anyway. It's like, I get so in a tizzy over some of the dumbest things. You know, I totally forgot to do this earlier, but I'll do it at the end. This podcast is sponsored by my Teespring store. Y'all want to buy some awesome merch, not just for the Mace Valor channel, but also for this podcast. Check out my Teespring store, link down below. And just for you guys, I'll put up a promo code so that you guys can get, let's do free shipping. Let's do that. So yeah, click the link down below. You'll get free shipping, which, you know, comes out of my profit margin, but it's fine, because I would much rather at least have motherfuckers wearing a shirt with the Mace Valor logo or the MVP, you know, or something to the effect. That's what I would think is dope, that I have a fucking fan base out there, you know. And I actually own a couple of the shirts from Teespring, and I kind of bought them as like little tests to kind of see which shirt felt nice, which screen print, which shirt like had a good screen printing on it to where it wouldn't fade off. And the ones that I've chosen are toppy tippers. Those are the ones I put up there because I've experienced them firsthand. So if y'all want some awesome merch, check out the Teespring link. That's our sponsor for the video. I'll probably throw that in the middle of the next one. But yeah, so we'll do it every Sunday. That's what we'll do. I'll fucking record these throughout the week or something. Who knows? But you know, I love you guys, man. Hashtag no homo. But you guys, man, the longtime viewers, the ones that have watched this and listened to it all the way to the end, you guys are the real MVPs. That's what I'm talking about. You know, you guys are the most valuable people in my eyes, because it's not just that you're listening to me fucking talk. Is that you're the same people that made it this far. You are the same people to drop a comment down below. You are the same people that are willing, even though you might disagree with me, you're still willing to have a conversation. And I appreciate that. We need more motherfuckers like you guys. All right? You guys are the shit, man. Just remember that. As always, I'm your oh so beloved and glorious Mace Valor. Signing off.